This is Let's Talk Data, the Maputo Protocol edition. We've been speaking with Faiza Jama Mohamed, Executive Director of Equality Now, Africa Regional Office. We've talked about a lot of things. Please check out the other videos. But for the next few minutes, we'll hear about Faiza's dream. The protocol is a teenager, so 50-year-old.
Yes.
You know, between now and the next 15 years, looking into the next 15 years, what's your dream for Africa and women's rights and the protocol in particular?
Right. Let me say a lot of, although we have come 15 years, still the road is long. And we need to put more efforts together to push for change. And we have opportunities that help us to accelerate the change, taking into account that the world is observing the Sustainable Development Goals and governments have done commitments to realize some of these goals, especially Goal 5, which addresses gender equality issues, although all the goals have relevance to women's equality rights. We are also in what the African Union has declared as the African Human Rights Decade, and that gives us an opportunity to also to dialogue with member states and to keep pushing for action in terms of fulfilling their obligations under the protocol. In 2010, in Nairobi, the AU launched the Women's Decade, which is, so we are still on Women's Rights Decade as well. And that's another thing that we would like to use as an optimization of pushing for advocacy on equality rights. My hope is that schools will be safe for girls, and that girls will, stay in schools and finish their education, because they are the ones who would be, if given the right support from an early age, who will make a big difference in the world that we are living in today, along with the boys. But oftentimes the girls are the most affected. We have seen a lot of violence in schools, so we're pushing for safe space in schools to ensure that girls are learning in a safe environment and that they are able to be supported immediately as they find challenges, whether it's at school or at home or within the community. We'd like to see, female genital mutilation ending. Countries are at different prevalence rates. Kenya is one of the countries that's doing well, come down to now 21%. When I came to this country, it was around 38%, and now we are at 21%. But when you look at the communities that practice it, it comes to almost 100% within those communities. So,
so not much movement has happened within the communities where it was already prevalent.
Yes, there is a reduction in some communities, apparently. Otherwise, the overall will not come down. But the prevalence is still high within practicing communities, and therefore the need to see more cooperation between different sectors of government to deal with this issue. We are at the moment part of several groups who are trying to protect the FGM law in Kenya, because it's being challenged by a doctor in court who says that it is unconstitutional, and so we don't want any drawbacks. We want to move forward and ensure the road to equality is possible and happens in the shortest time possible. Yet we realize that there will be always challenges like this one that we need to overcome as we continue with the journey. So we're hoping to be successful in this, and that Kenya will set a good example for the rest of the world. Because if this law is declared unconstitutional, it has a big negative impact for many other countries. And so those are the challenges that we see, and my hope is therefore to overcome this with good speed. And again, women's political participation is another area that we see needs attention. And hopefully with, I was very hopeful about Kenya when the 2/3, gender rule came out. Yeah. But now we see that practically when it comes to positions, it's also about resources, and that, people who occupy those positions for a long time would feel entitled to it. So it's more like a male entitlement than a female entitlement, and therefore you don't want to give up what you feel you are entitled to. And so it's a big challenge. But we hope that we can overcome some of these challenges, and that there will see more women who are in there. Although there's always a question of what is in a number, can we also maybe instill feminism in men who can also deliver what we are looking for? Yes. So those are things to deliberate on. But we are seeing progress in some countries, and Rwanda makes us all proud because it's #1 in the world in terms of women's political participation, and hopefully others will also follow the suit.
All right. Yeah. Now, this has been fabulous talking to you, hearing about the protocol's journey, hearing your own story, getting involved in the women's rights movement, and the work that the coalitions that you've been part of have managed to do from Somalia to across Africa. So we continue to have these conversations on this series on Let's Talk Data. Please follow us on Twitter and Instagram or Facebook. Our handle is Network for Data. And you can also find us on YouTube. So please check us out if you're seeing this on Facebook. We're also on YouTube. You can find us there. Don't forget to like and subscribe for notifications of the next videos. And we'll be back next time with yet another icon of the Maputo Protocol's journey. So please find us on whichever space you're most comfortable with. So Faiza,
thank you.
Thank you very much. It was a great pleasure.
Thank you.